That's the Estonian flag. Blue, black, and white. Blue stands, I believe, for the ocean. Black for the rich soil. White for purity, courage, that sort of thing. But apparently a Britishman quipped that it may stand for the black and blue that they've suffered from their various oppressors, and the white reflected surrender. In comparison to France, that's probably an unfair, cynical bit of humor. These people were so small, how could they contest their oppressors? The top of the hillock overlooking Freedom Square. This was a very popular place during the Soviet period for the punk rockers, I think they're called, who would come up here, and they used this as a place to sell this contraband music, if you will, that the Soviets were very much against, including the lyrics, which our guide yesterday said might more often be read out loud in faltering English than sung. Here's the church and its tower. This big tower, I'll name it in a moment, and then Maiden Tower to the left. This big tower is notable, among other things, for the cannonballs embedded in the walls. I don't believe those were embedded by the cannon that shot them, but rather put in after the fact as a symbolic way of saying, if this tower could repel the forces that attacked it with these cannon, then you're likely to do any damage either. This Maiden Tower gets its name from the fact that maidens were housed in it, which is actually too gentle a phrase. Prostitutes were imprisoned in it. They had a very intelligent prostitution system here that the government taxed and regulated, and when the women stole their clients' money, they were arrested and dumped into this Maiden's Tower. An old cannon. We might expect more walls. No idea what that's referring to. This is a wearing down game. Now whether this was just a buttress or an entranceway, it may have been the Danes' guards' entryway or passageway to the church. Whoever used it will use it now. It had some kind of a gate. This was an open tower, which is interesting. Why would they have made it open? We'll see if I can get back down to continue my circuit around this whole town, which means starting from somewhere around where I would cross the street from Freedom Square to my first hostel and then work my way to the right underneath all of this. So we came up through here, along there, and like this and like that, and then climbed up through there. This is Freedom Square, and we're now here. We're going to see if we can't find a way to negotiate down here and get around this. Walking the perimeter, hoping I find a way out. We're outside of that hill that we were walking on, above that wall. And this road takes you up to the main complex, which we will avoid for exactly the reason you're seeing ahead of us. And continue down this way. Who this hero is, obviously a naval commander. Evident not only from the sculpture, looks like the prow of a ship, but also from the insignia on his hat. Go this way, which I think is the beginning on this side of that long part that arches around the, I think the west-northwest part of this whole complex. And you can see it extends down below. And we are over to the right. We'll be sweeping along through here and around through here. If these low benches are comfortable for old people or not, and I'm too lazy to find out. Like a young robin. Quite sure those are robins. Something else though. Reasonably formidable wall. Some pretty flowers in this tall tree. I think this is a lilac tree rather than a bush. The flower complex or units don't seem to be as large as the usual, but the smell is very much the same. They're covered with lilacs this time of year. We're coming around the corner. Sharp one it is. These stones were used in the wall in the manner they've used them here. I'm pretty sure this is a reconstruction. It seemed to me they would be more effective against cannonballs than just the regular kind of brick. Contemplative there. Equally so. Contemplative woman. It's interesting how I attach more significance to her contemplation than that of the bear. Curious, almost looks like a contemplative buffalo. Or a lion. That was quick, and here we are. Up the street. Street gives you an idea why you don't want to be amongst these people during the time they're here. We're up beneath that hill, looking at this tower, which is behind the presidential palace up there. We'll see it later. We'll continue to go around the upper castle complex, Tompeia Hill. Interesting to imagine what those protrusions and old doorways and square holes and that rounded arch, underneath it a smaller arch, and underneath it a true arch window or doorway. And what would that have been up there? My guess is there was another building attached to that. Yet that has a balcony. Why? Sports complex with 3 basketball courts. Remember, in Latvia, the 80% of the people consider basketball the national sport. It may be significant here too. The feeling this is not a heavily used route. Unique complex. I continue to wonder what structurally is the benefit of these arches in the outside wall. Here you see that this looks like some kind of a formal embankment. Could it have been just another outer wall? Opposite this part of the wall, with of course residential buildings on it, I'm guessing, we're standing on top of what I think was a raised, man-made raised hill for a outer defensive wall, and may have been also the basis for this, what looks like a moat. And now, of course, it creates a very pretty park. Here, it appears to terminate. You can see that the walls wrapping about the hill here. So we've walked all the way around here from the square. Here's Freedom Square. We walked around through this park, through to here. Hostels over here. Take us straight back into Old Town. We're at Nuns Gate. Apparently what it looked like in the day. Confusing painting. The Tompeia on our right and the wall coming in from the center and arching off to the left. Presumably somewhere right in here where I am was Nuns Gate, also called Sauna Gate. Obviously a woman again. What is symbolized by the distorted leg in that round feature? So a face right in here.